Welcome back to Neil Olsen's Lotus Excel restoration. We're up to part 50 now in the series, and in this video I'm going to remove the windscreen and rebond it. The windscreen had come loose, particularly on the passenger side, and you could slightly move it with your hand. So I'll be removing it, and let's see how long it takes to do that. I'm also making progress on the carpets, the interior carpets within the car, so I can pretty much show you what I've been up to regarding that. I also want to get on top of some of the water leak issues that I've been having, particularly in the passenger footwell. I mean, it's been leaking up to, sometimes when it rains pretty much all night, it can leak up to, a litre or two, certainly in the passenger footwell, and obviously I want to get that sorted before I really start gluing carpets and things like that back in place. Because obviously, I'll end up with mould and a mess and all that kind of thing. So yeah, as I say, thanks everybody for taking an interest in the channel and making slow but steady progress. I'm still very much enjoying what I'm doing. And as they say, let's get on with it and see what we can get up to. To remove the windscreen on an Excel, the first thing I'm going to do here is obviously remove these trim pieces at the side, and also this trim piece at the top here. That's coming out quite easily. Nice and steady, I don't want to distort it. Okay, then I'll remove these trim pieces here, which are held in by there's usually a screw there, but there isn't one at the moment. So I'll undo those. Pieces removed. I guess it's just a question of the long and tedious job of running the knife down the sides of the sealant here and trying to remove it. This is going to take some time. I don't expect to get this done even today or maybe even over the weekend. It's just going to be a long and tedious job to do this. But anyway, I'll get on with it. Oh, that's hard and brittle. But it is coming off. Now I am absolutely astonished about how little time that's taken, and that window is basically out. It's completely loose. And it's taken me quite literally less than 5 minutes. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the source of all my leaks that's been happening, because obviously the bonding agent is just, it's completely finished. But I've got some suckers anyway, so I'll remove the windscreen completely. It's threatening to rain a bit, so hopefully it won't, although I do have a cover obviously if it does rain and I get caught out. But anyway, I'll get the suckers and try and remove it completely. I have to say, this was one of the most astonishingly easy jobs I've ever done, and I'm absolutely gobsmacked. I guess the next bit now is to remove most of this here, the old stuff, and then start preparing it for the new stuff. Yeah, the windscreen's there, so I guess we'll just have to remove most of the bonding agent around the edges and prepare it for sticking back in.
just doing some prep work around the windscreen frame here. Yeah, I mean most of the old sealants there is off at least to a level that I'm fairly happy with. Maybe a bit up here. Just finalising the preparations now. I'm not going to be rushed into this, but just going to make final preparations on the windscreen. So I've done pretty much all the prep work I'm going to do on the window frame itself, and I guess it's just a question of lining it up properly and marking exactly how it's going to go on. Yeah, quite pleased. I put some spacers in at the bottom here, and eventually I'm going to fit a seal along the bottom edge there. Yeah, quite happy with the spacer up here. That seems to be fitting well. There's a little bit of a gap obviously on the side of the window, so I'm going to have to put it thick enough obviously to seal the gap there. And on the other side, yep, just that's what, yeah, 2 or 3 millimeters I would say. Let's have a look. About 3 millimeters. I think that's pretty much perfect. So I'll mark it up then, and I think I'm just about ready to go. Put the window in place, but I didn't film it because I got my neighbour around quickly to help me, and I'm pretty pleased with the results. I put quite a tall bead in there, and it's come out really well, the bead. I'm just trying to force this sealant here in at the moment, which is going quite well, because I tried to put it in before I actually mounted the window like I did the top one there, which was in before, and it wouldn't stay in place, so I thought about sticking it in place or trying afterwards to put it in place, and it came up the best idea was just to put it in place afterwards like I'm doing now, and it seems to be going quite well. But I'll finish that. Put the windscreen, it's been a few days since I put the windscreen in. Thrown a bucket of water over it, and yeah, it seems to be pretty okay. Put this seal in as well, but I'm not overly happy with how it's seated in the middle there. At the edges it's okay, but not in the middle. So I'll probably take it out at some point and try and redo it again, maybe cut a piece off the sort of underneath it there so it fits in a bit more snug. Yeah, the trim, I'm going to sort this out at some point. That's not fitting particularly snugly there, but I'll leave that for a later date. And what I'm going to do now is concentrate on the carpets. So as you can see, I already cut this piece out. It's not glued in yet. Yeah, I'll measure out this long bit section here and try and place that in as well and see how that works out. Yeah, I'm cutting out bits of carpet based on the old templates. As you can see, there's one of the side bits there, and I'm cutting a bit of seam out here as well to sew on the end. I've run a seam down across this bit and sewing basically the piece of vinyl to the carpet itself, and the sewing machine copes with it quite well, I have to say. It's not too bad. Yeah, I'll trim these bits off now. As you can see at the edge there, it needs a bit of trimming, and see how that turns out. It could be better, but I guess it's not too bad. See how it fits in place. I'm now just trying to cut and fit the main bits of carpet in here. Yeah, so I'll just cut out a little bit at the bottom there, a little corner there, also where the seat mounts go in there, but slowly trimming it off and moving it into place. Yeah, we're slowly getting there. That fits quite well. The bottom's going to be another piece over here and over this bit here as well. Then obviously I'll cut out pieces for the foot mats as well. But we're slowly getting, I'm actually quite pleased with the choice of carpets here. Yeah, I was wondering whether the anthracite colour would be too dark, but I'm quite pleased with it now it's sat in the car. Yeah, I'm just marking here where I need to cut for the seatbelt anchor. Cut a hole in there. So I'm going to disconnect the seatbelt warning light here. Basically these wires are to let you know if the seatbelt's been engaged or not. Just so I know here that the black goes to the light blue, and it's only light blue, and the purple and black I think that is, yeah, goes to the red. Just so we know. Yeah, even this side, it's as a first attempt, it's fitted actually not too badly. Let me just, I think I just need to trim a little bit off from down there. There's a little bit too much tension there. I'll trim a bit off from there, but other than that I have to say that that's not too bad. Yeah. Alright, let me get that done. Now, after installing the window, unfortunately I still haven't established the source of the link. It's been raining quite considerably for the last sort of, well, 12 hours, something like that. And as you can see here in the footwell, I've still got a leak. But at least now I'm getting closer to solving it, because it's definitely coming down from underneath this bit here. And I've also checked the windscreen, and that seems to be perfectly sealed. So I was thinking at first it could be something to do with the bit for the bonnet catch, but it doesn't seem to be that either. That seems to be okay too. Let me think what else that could be. Yeah, I'm going to have to do some more research here. I'm still a bit stumped about what's causing that leak. I'm suspecting now that the water is actually, the water leak is coming from the grommet in there, because it's not properly, there's a rubber bit that's supposed to go in there, and clearly it's not sitting properly. So that's one theory. The other theory is it's coming from the lock, the bonnet locking mechanism here. So what I think I'll do is I'll try and run a bit of silicone around there and temporarily cover that to see if I can stop the problem. So I've moved the grommet a bit more in position and put this plastic bag which will deflect most of the water from that corner there, and let's see if that makes any kind of difference or not. Now, it's rained quite a lot overnight, and as you can see, the water problem is just as bad as ever. Now, this is starting to annoy the shit out of me, I'm going to be honest. I did put a sponge sort of under there, and it did come out soaking wet. So I suspect that the problem is somewhere down here. Yeah, and the water sort of runs down there. What I'm going to do is, now is I'm just going to dry this all out with a sponge. Then I'm just going to start chucking buckets of water somewhere and see if I can get it to, see if I can narrow down the problem. So I did sort of force a plastic bag into the hole there, and it, well, hasn't made a huge difference if I'm going to be brutally honest. So I'm not sure if that's where it's coming from now. So I've dried off most of the water down there. What I'm just going to do is I'm just going to use this watering can and start chucking water down bits. I'll start with here just to make sure and eliminate, see what comes out of this now. See if that makes a difference. Well, doesn't seem to be a lot of extra water coming in after that. I'll chuck a bit more down. I put quite a significant amount of water now down there. It doesn't seem to be making the problem any worse. So I'll focus on this door now and see if I can get it to leak by pouring water sort of down there with the door closed. Yeah, I don't know if you can see it there, but there definitely, when I do that, there definitely seems to be an increase in flow of water there. As you can see, it started dripping down there when I put it on the door. Well, it hasn't rained overnight, and of course there's no water in there anymore. But I've bitten the bullet. I think I'm going to bite the bullet here and completely remove this door and tidy a few things up in there as well. Yeah. Let's see if I can get to the bottom of this water leak once and for all. Yeah, I've removed these 4 bolts from there. Just there's one shorter one, and the other one, the shorter one, goes in there. Just want to show a little bit how everything goes here. So we've got those 2 yellow bits, wires there. Let's have a look. So the bottom one goes into the blue and grey. The top one goes into the black and the grey and purple. I'm hoping that this is the main cause of my water leaks issue here, is that this sort of rubber grommet thing here has actually popped out, and it was sort of sitting there as it is. I don't know how well you can see that on camera. I'll try and zoom in a little bit more. Yeah, the grommet there was sort of hanging out like it is now, you see, but I can put it back in and seal it a little bit with sealant or silicone or something like that, and hopefully that will solve my water leaking issues, because I don't know what the hell else it could be. No, I've filled those, I put the seal back in properly there and filled it with silicone, so hopefully that'll stop the water leaks. Now I'll start reassembling the door. Now it comes to the point of screwing everything back together on the door. I just wanted to highlight a couple of things about door adjustment. And so the first thing to notice on an Excel door is that you've got 4 bolts here that secure the brackets. You can loosen them obviously, and then it gives you sort of up and down movement on the beam. So what I usually do then is I've screwed in the latch here, which I can take out now. And before I torque those bolts up there, what I do is I jack the back of the door beam up as high as it'll pretty much go. And I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, the latch is just it's just hitting the bottom of this here, and that's what you want. And the reason for that is that when the weight of the whole, you know, the door, the skin and the window frame, the window and everything gets put on there, it'll push it down a bit. Yeah, so that's the reason for that. So if I sort of push it down a bit here, it will go into place. And yeah, so I'll just release that now. Now, another adjustment you can do here on an XL door is that when the frame installed before, there was like a gap between the frame and the seal here. There's maybe a couple of millimeters, maybe even a bit more than that. So what I've done is I put one more plate and some washers sort of behind this bracket holding the pin here. So there's more washers there, and it sort of moves at the back of it. And hopefully that'll give me enough adjustment so that the frame, when I put it back in, it rests against the seal here, not allowing water in there. But I guess we'll see when it comes out. I'll start reassembly now. So I've reassembled the door, and it's operating as it should. Plus the gap is a lot better now to the seal there. I've still got an issue with the electric window. I'm only getting 5 volts electric window, so it's not raising up. I managed to raise it with an extra battery. Still got some issue to do there, and I guess now Murphy's Law is, of course, it's not planned to rain, or certainly not for the next 10 days, so I probably won't be able to see if it's leaking water or not, if the problem's fixed. But yeah, I guess that's the way it works sometimes. So I'll draw this video to a conclusion now. Obviously I've still got quite a bit to do with related to the carpets, and I also want to take the blower element out. Yeah, I guess it's going to be a bit of a time before I can test if the leak's properly fixed or not, but that's the way it goes sometimes. We had a week of almost constant rain, and then now there's no rain predicted for the next, certainly not the next 10 days, looking at the weather forecast. So yeah, a bit of Murphy's Laws there, but it is what it is, can't help. As I say, yeah, thanks a lot for taking interest in the channel, people, and I hope that the next video is not going to take so long to get out next time. Cheers, and enjoy the start of the spring.